Hello. Now, today we're going to continue on with our work in equations, and we're going to look at a few slightly different examples, but the principle that we talked about the last day is exactly the same. So I'm going to keep the left-hand side and the right-hand side of my equation balanced. So let's take a look at something like this. I have 4x. What does that mean? It means 4 multiplied by x, and I don't know what x is yet. And I'm going to say that that is equal to 20. Well, let's talk this through for a moment. I have 4 multiplied by a number is the same as 20. So I'm really saying what number multiplied by 4 would equal 20. And I know that that number is going to be 5. But what did I do? Well, effectively, I could do trial and error in this particular case, but I effectively found what a quarter of 20 was. So if I want to keep my balance and I want to end up, so I'll write down my aim here, I want to end up with x is equal to a number. That's really what I want when I'm solving equations. I'm always going to want to end up with x equals a number. And at the moment I have 4 times x is equal to a number is equal to 20. So I want to have x is equal to a number. So what I can do is I know if I divide 4 by 4, so 4 divided by 4 will be 1, and on this side I would just be left with x. So 4 divided by 4 would give me 1, and I would be left with 1x. And I know that if I have x sitting by itself, it means 1x. Now, I come back to what I know about my equations. I have to keep things balanced. So if I divide my left-hand side by 4, that means I'm going to have to divide my right-hand side by 4. So if I divide 20 by 4, I end up with 5, and I now have x is equal to 5. Let's do another example and see if we can make sense of it. So we'll say we have 3a is equal to 18. 3a means 3 multiplied by a is the same as 18. So what number multiplied by 3 would give me 18? I know that my final aim is to end up with a is equal to a number. I don't know what the number is yet. But I have 3 times a is equal to 18. So I don't want this 3 here. I have 3 multiplied by a, I just want to have 1a. So how am I going to get rid of this? Well, I can't take 3 away. I couldn't do this. I can't take 3 away because that's not going to do anything for me. 3a minus 3 is just 3a minus 3. So subtracting isn't going to do anything for me. How am I going to undo my multiply? I'm going to divide by 3 because I want to end up with 1a. I have 3 multiplied by a, so if I have 3 divided by 3, that's going to leave me with 1a. So that's the left hand side the way I want it. But what do I need to do then? I need to do the same thing to the right hand side to keep my balance. So if I divide 18 by 3, I'm going to end up with 6. Now, to give you a picture of what's going on here, I start out with my balanced weighing scales, and I have 3 a's on this side, and I have 18 on the other side. So if I divide both sides by 3, if I effectively get a third of each side, I'm doing the same thing to both sides, so I will keep my weighing scales balanced. If I get a third of this side and a third of this side, I've made them smaller by the same amount, so they're still going to be balanced. So I'm going to end up with A is going to be 6. So we're still using our weighing scales to keep track of what we're doing, to remind ourselves that we have to keep doing the same thing to both sides to keep everything balanced. Now let's take another example. If I have minus 2m is equal to 20. Well, I know that my final aim is going to be to have m is equal to a number. And at the moment I have minus 2 multiplied by m is equal to a number, is equal to 20. So how am I going to go from having a minus 2 multiplied by m to just having a 1m? Well, I know that if I divide any number by itself, doesn't matter what the number is, if I divide any number by itself, I'm going to end up with 1. So I have to divide both sides by minus 2. I have to divide minus 2 by minus 2. That will leave me with 1m here. And then I have 20 divided by minus 2. And I have to be careful with my signs. I have a plus divided by a minus. Well, that's going to give me a minus. And 20 divided by 2 is going to be 10. So I do my signs first, and then I do my division of my numbers. So I end up with m is equal to minus 10. Now let's combine what we did the last day with what we're doing today. So if I have minus k is equal to, minus k minus 5 is equal to 15. So minus k minus 5 is equal to 15. Well, I know what my final aim is. I want to know what k is equal to. K is going to be equal to some number. So I want to know what 1k is equal to. And I need to rearrange this equation in order to find out what k is going to be equal to. I'm going to start by doing my adding and subtracting first. So I have my k here, and I have next to it I have a minus 5, and I don't want that minus 5 there. I want k by itself. So I'm at minus 5 and I want to add up to 0. I don't want to have any numbers on my left hand side. I just want k by itself. So I'm at minus 5. What do I need to add or subtract in order to get to 0? Well, I need to add 5. If I'm at minus 5 on my number line and I add 5, I end up at 0, and that's going to have my k by itself. And if I do something to the left hand side of my equation, the left hand side of my weighing scales, I must do exactly the same thing to the right hand side. So I must add 5 to the right hand side. So that means I'm going to have minus k is equal to 20. Now, minus a number is equal to plus 20. I want to know what the number by itself is. So instinctively we can say that it would be minus 20. If minus k is 20, then k is going to be minus 20. But we can be more rigorous about this. I know if I have a minus in front of here, it's like I have a hidden 1. So I effectively have minus 1 multiplied by k is equal to 20. So what am I going to do? I want k by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by minus 1. So I'm dividing both sides by minus 1 to get k by itself. When I do that, I have minus 1 divided by minus 1 leaves me with 1k, and then 20 divided by minus 1 is going to be plus divided by minus is minus 20 divided by 1 is 20. And those are the skills that we need for right now.